I need to know a little bit more about this death of this gentleman. Why did he die? Just help me understand.
Nobody knows.
This
Okay.
diagnosis was given by a doctor, not the doctor at the ER, but a doctor who worked at the hospital at Pawnee Valley several days later after reviewing the chart. And the only thing that had been a matter of record for him was that he, about 5 days before, had been identified as having a urinary tract infection.
Do you
And
think the cause of death was wrong?
yes. And
The
they didn't
immediate
know.
cause of death is urosepsis.
But
With
he
an
also had a
infected,
terminal CA
Yeah.
that was right up here.
And
And was
it was
slowly
burrowing
eating
into
into his
his
little
brain.
head. So, unless they did a post, how did they know what he died of? They don't
And
know.
his blood pressure was dropping out, was too low, and his temperature was too low. I worked that day, we sent him to the hospital, we expected to see him back. He was
This
talking.
is kind of important.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of punishing you was that about this catheter business, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But he may not have even died from that.
Yeah, we don't know that.
We
Some
don't
of
know,
us
never
still
will.
don't know. But the
doctor-
problem is, from their perspective, we didn't follow policy, we didn't follow order. And just
There
like I
wasn't a
told them,
policy.
that's exactly, and that's
There
what I told
wasn't
them
a
in peer
policy.
review. How can I be expected to follow a policy that was not even in existence until after the dude
The
died?
man died on June 26th or 25th, and the
Policy
new
didn't come until
policy
July
was
8th.
put in place on July 7th or 8th.
Yeah, 7th or 8th.
And this man was cremated right after, so nobody could even do an autopsy.
We, at least I never once thought that this was a nursing thing to do. And the way the order was written, it looked like that a doctor was going to do it.
And the crazy thing about the way they do orders out there, a medical doctor can enter medical orders, and a psychiatric doctor can enter psychiatric orders. But when it comes time for orders to be renewed, whichever doctor renews their own orders first automatically renews. So say the medical doctor said, change catheter monthly. When he enters that order to renew those orders, the psychiatric doctor's orders are automatically renewed too, or vice versa. If the psych doctor puts his orders, renews his orders, the medical orders are
Isn't that a
also.
bad idea? The
So-
psych
That's a bad
proves
idea.
something, but the medical thing is
That's a bad- that's
unnecessary?
And you
bad
could end
idea.
up with
So it's-
contradictory orders.
It's either
Is that true? That's really how?
Yes.
Yes,
You
that's
think
how it
that's
works.
still how it happens?
It's
Yeah.
still how it
Yeah.
happens. And so then it's
That's
up
a
to the
system
nurse.
problem.
So it's up to the nurse who has 30 patients and the supervision of at least, 3 to 5 staff besides herself. And now she has to sort through all these orders to determine which ones are relevant to those 30 patients. Not to mention the fact that the psychiatrist who had, in our boilerplate letter, had been renewing the order, it makes him a certain amount of, gives him a certain amount of liability to make sure that for the well-being of his patient, that order is being followed. Now, he was never named. In a med mal case, he would have been named as legally liable.
The medical doctor that was involved with the catheter thing would have been named? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the psychiatrist, because
Oh.
he renewed the order to have the catheter changed monthly, but then didn't follow up to make sure it was being done, which,
Oh.
because he renewed the order, would have made him, give him a certain amount of medical liability to it, because he
Sure.
wasn't making sure that the order was followed up to see how his patient was
Does he even know if the
doing.
medical doctor wanted it?
No, they
He
didn't
doesn't know
ever
the reason
discuss it.
why.
They don't discuss it. They just
I
automatically
mean, it gets back to
rewrite
whether or
them.
not this catheter was even necessary.
Nobody ever bothered to find out. But they tried to say that the nurse is solely responsible for making sure that that was even necessary.
What was the KBI came and talked to you all?
Yes.
Everybody?
they thought we murdered him. We seemed like criminals.
They
with
did
those
all their
allegations.
interviews actually out on grounds, but the KBI agent came and talked to me at my house, because he called me one day and he said, when can I talk to you about this? And I said, well, I don't really need to come to Great Bend, can you come to my house? I said, before he left, I said, Brian, who instigated this investigation against the nurses? Because he had told me it was a criminal investigation, and he said LSH.
And so our own administration initiated
A criminal
a criminal
investigation.
investigation of us.
But I called somebody on the State Board of Nursing right after this happened, because, right after we were accused of this and received the letters that we did, and she said they can't possibly believe that many nurses could make the same mistake and not have it be a system failure. And that's what I'd said all along, it's a system failure. they didn't put, the things were not in place for us to do
Our job.
our job.
My career is basically destroyed. I'm too close to retirement to build up any more retirement anyplace. And I don't want to go back into acute care nursing because I've been a psych nurse for 9 years and I've lost my skills.
It's about, we have been violated. We have been treated unfairly. Our patients have
Our
suffered.
names have been smeared,
Yes.
our profession is,
But at the same time, we have our reputation that stands behind us. How many of us have allegations like this? All of my years in nursing practice, I haven't been accused of wrongdoing. I've got a good record behind me.
50 years of nursing practice.
Yes.
Yeah, so not only are you putting your life on the line with an unpredictable psych patient, but you're also putting your license on the line because you never know what you're gonna do that they're gonna nail you for, whether you did it or not.